Right, we would like to start this episode off with a disclaimer. This podcast is just our opinions and facts gathered on the internet, and we do not wish to offend or cause any harm to anybody. Quick apologies for making mistakes in this podcast, whether it's saying the wrong thing, getting our facts wrong, or our bad pronunciation of names, cities, or etc. We also do not have the correct equipment yet, and we are calling over FaceTime overseas, therefore excuse our sound quality, and we hope you enjoy today's episode.
Hello and welcome. This is Alex Taylor.
And this is Cara Moore.
And you're listening to Alex and Cara's Agenti Convo.
Today we will be discussing the new currents of Asian violence after we give you a 5-minute rundown of the past week's world news. Take it off, Alex.
So on the 22nd of August 2021, the German Chancellor Angela Merkel met Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to discuss his concerns over the Nord Stream 2 project, which the Ukrainian president says will threaten Ukraine's security and pose a threat to all of Europe. She agreed with Washington that Nord Stream 2 should not be used against Ukraine and sanctions would be used if gas was used as a weapon. The Paralympic Games are going on right now, and go cheer! Kamala joins the diplomatic charm offensive in Southeast Asia, where she will visit Southeast Asian countries to help restore democracy in Myanmar and more. She has already accused China of intimidation and coercion in the South China Sea. There was a fire at a Mexican offshore oil platform which killed 5 people and injured 6 on the 23rd of August. There was a flash flood in Tennessee on the 21st which killed 22 with many more missing. The names of the missing have been listed at an emergency center in Humphreys County. There is a disinformation campaign that is gaining popularity in China, which states that the coronavirus was made in Fort Detrick, Maryland. Analysts say it didn't make new overseas friends, but it managed to convince Beijing's domestic audience. Scientists state that the heavy rainfall in Europe in July was made more likely by climate change. The floods in some part of Europe has killed over 250 people, and the research states that global warming made it 9 times more likely for this kind of rainfall to occur in Western Europe. And we have an update on Afghanistan. An attack on Kabul airport where 2 bombs were detonated on Thursday, 26th of August. This bombing by the ISK killed as many as 170 people, including 13 U.S. servicemen, and also wounded 150. After Biden promised to hunt down the jihadists behind the attack, the U.S. managed to kill one of the planners of this attack with a drone. This unmanned airstrike took place in the Nangarhar province and killed the ISK planner as well as another ISK member without any civilian casualties. Moreover, France, Belgium, Denmark, Netherlands, Canada, and the UK have completed their evacuation flights during the week. Thankfully, it is estimated that almost 100,000 people have already been evacuated. There apparently is an anti-Taliban resistance group in Panjshir Valley, which is surrounded by the Taliban. They claim to have thousands of fighters and are seeking to negotiate. That's it on the update for Afghanistan and the 5-minute news.
Thank you so much, Alex. That was something that we do like to keep updated on. The Afghanistan news is something that is going on a lot right now, and we do like to acknowledge it because it is something that's very important, and we do believe it's something that needs to be spoken about a lot. And there are a lot of news in the 5-minute news as well that I found really interesting, kind of like the disinformation campaign in China, which is something that's going on a lot right now. And I think there was a trend that was happening a couple years back about fake news. I don't know if that's really the same thing, but
really, no, I think it's ironic. They kind of like
it's a lot of blaming.
Yeah, it really contrasts to the topic we're talking about, which is Asian violence.
Yeah, so So we're going to move on to our main topic today, which is going to be Asian violence. So this week's topic is focused around Asian American hate crimes. This is something that has been going on around for way too long. It initially surfaced after the current pandemic was starting out, and it started being labeled the China virus. The rate of the Asian American crime rate has gone up by nearly 150% in 2020 alone. 150, that's a crazy, that's very high percentage. So according to the NBC News, from 2019 to 2020, crime rate has gone down, yet the Asian American hate crimes has gone up from 3 to 28 in New York City and 7 to 15 in LA. An extreme example for this was in March 16, 2020, when a shooter named Robert Aaron Long pleaded guilty on Tuesday for the murder of 4 people. He was accused of killing 8 people, 6 of them known to be of Asian descent. The 22-year-old was accused of killing Paul Andre Michaels, Xiao Qie-tan, Dao Yo Fen, and Delina Ashley Yan Gonzalez at a spa in Chiriquí County. Another male, Elisas Rosendo Hernandez Ortiz, the sole survivor of the shooting, was left with severe injuries when he was shot in the face. This is a horrific and revolting example of the current issue. Sadly, this hasn't been the only example of this. Many more reports have surfaced over the last year, as well as surveillance camera footage showing Asian Americans being shoved to the ground or whilst walking around broad daylight and never again regain consciousness. The percentage of the victims of these hate crimes from the Stop AAPI has shown that 7% of their reports were over 60-year-old elderlies. So not only are Asian American hate crimes that are happening on a severe level, but it's also elderlies. People attacking
I hate that they're targeting older people who are more vulnerable.
Yeah,
in our
much
society.
more vulnerable, as well as kids.
Yeah.
There are also reports showing that many principals in schools are worried for their Asian students' protection and safety, and it must also be really hard for the parents to send their kids into an environment where even the teachers are worried for their safety. And elderlies and children being targeted is just horrible. Being targeted at all is horrible, but these age ranges are also incredibly sad as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it is sad.
Yeah, and it's heartbreaking, and it's it shouldn't be happening, but the ages that it is happening of is also really devastating.
I think all of this is misinformation. I mean, not the events occurred, but caused by misinformation that they think the virus is from China.
Or they're using
that the Asians caused it.
Yeah, or they're using the virus as an excuse to do what it is, and it's not okay. It doesn't matter what excuse you have; it's never okay to hurt somebody in that way.
Yes, I agree.
Yes. Okay, so a report by the NBC News that was written by a professor from the University of Maryland named Janelle Wong that I'm just going to read out here right now. So there are a bunch of harassment categories as well as a number of incidents and the percentage that this makes up for the total. So there's physical harassment, which takes up 112 incidents and 16.49% of it, which includes spitting, coughing, and sneezing on someone of that rate. There's also verbal harassment, which takes up 79.68% of the total category, which is spoken harassment, online/social media harassment, racist signs/notes, and rumors as well. There's also avoidance and non-verbal harassment, which takes up 24.74%, and that is barring from businesses or restaurants, which basically means not allowing services to people of Asian descent. There's also vandalism, and the total harassment in incidents identified was 679 in total, which is a crazy number as well. And I didn't even realize that avoidance and nonverbal harassment was a category. I didn't know people literally got barred from their businesses, their jobs, and restaurants as well. It's crazy.
Definitely. I think it's just so horrible, just terrible.
Yeah, and we have some demographics from the victims, also from the NBC News. Here there's a bunch of ethnicity groups here that we mainly have Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese, Filipino, Hmong, Japanese, Taiwanese, mixed race, Lao, and Burmese. That's the list, but there are a lot more, but these are just the main ones that have been attacked. There's also down here, which is something that we were just talking about before, which is the age range of these things. The adult number is 438. It's 86.22%. Children, 84.
Why?
84. Like,
I know.
Children.
Why?
Like, they have nothing. None of these people have anything to do with someone else's hate, but children and seniors up to 14.
I think anything against children is just so devastating because they don't know anything. They probably have like PTSD or some kind of horrible memory.
They're probably so confused as well. I mean,
yeah.
They were meant to be like welcomed into this country, and they're not. We also have some gender over here, which is females is up to 300 number of incidents and males 191, which is still a lot, especially females taking up to 300 of those as well. A lot of these, I feel like a lot of the targeted victims are people who are normally seen to be not able to defend themselves, like children and seniors. And well, females can defend themselves, but to the society, they're the much weaker gender as well. So they're not even, like, it's almost cowardice in a horrific way. So what can we do to help stop this? So you can donate to Stop AAPI Hate Crimes to raise money and awareness to this issue and help this problem stop. We also have encourages people to speak up, as well as encourage others who have experienced Asian hate crimes, because there is still a large percentage of hate crimes that have gone unnoticed and unreported. One of these reasons is because of the very large and obvious language barrier between the communities. So another thing that you can do to help is bridge this barrier the best you can. If you have known anyone who does have experienced Asian hate crime and can't speak up because the police don't understand, you can come in and try and help translate and do the best you can to make an environment where people can speak out about it and are brave enough to show their support towards the Asian hate crime, because this is something that cannot go unnoticed, because it is happening for way too long, and it's something that has occurred because of this coronavirus. And no matter where it has started root, there is no good reason to hurt anyone because of their race, because of where they came from, where their family came from, where their ancestors come from, I guess. But it's never okay to hurt someone like that, especially children and elderlies, because they cannot protect themselves. Another way that you can save this, I saw this on NBC, is because as we said before, principals within schools are worried for their students' safety who are from Asian descent, and the NBC recommends teaching Asian history within their history courses to show what the Asian community has helped with their country's history and how it has helped them become who they are today. And become an upstander. It's much easier said than done. Become an upstander. If you see something that is happening, try to stop it. But also don't, if it's something that is dangerous, so if something is much more physical, you don't have to put yourself in danger, but speak up about it. You don't have to come in and fight someone off, but speak up about it. Call for help if help is needed. Like, don't endanger yourself or the people around you a lot.
And you know what makes me sad and all this is I haven't seen much of this in the news. I mean, it wasn't as publicized as like the other movements, like the Black Lives Matter, or the other ones,
or the LGBTQ. And we're not saying there's anything wrong with the other.
No, I completely support all of them.
Yes, it's great, but there's.
I think close. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there was the incident that really started a social frenzy of madness, as you could say, was there was this an old man from Thailand who was in his 60s, 70s, who just got his COVID vaccine, and he was walking on the sidewalk, just about to go home or go to work or wherever he was going, and he was shoved multiple times, and he fell to the ground, and he never regained consciousness. He died. He was a father, he was a grandfather, he had grandchildren, he was probably gonna hang some time with, and he died. He just got his COVID vaccine. He did nothing wrong. He was walking in broad daylight on the sidewalk, and the security camera caught his attacker shoving him to the ground, and he never regained consciousness, and it was horrible. He was someone's father or grandfather. I'll say it again. Someone's father and grandfather. That's horrific. I mean,
it is horrible. Did the perpetrator get caught?
I don't know. I haven't read into it much. I saw it on a video on NBC, but I'm sure he did, because it is probably went to jail for. Imagine you getting a call from the police saying that your grandfather passed away because of his rights. He did nothing wrong. There was also another incident where a man, I think Mr. Gonzalez, I'm not sure, but he was slashed across the face. And I think I've seen this one on the news, but not as publicized, probably only a couple of articles. He was slashed across the face with a knife, and he had permanent injuries. And he was just walking out on the subway, and someone came up, got a knife, and slashed him across the face.
I think it's just so frustrating because I just hate race crimes or any crime. I do hate any crimes, but still.
But ones that were started from race itself was so, because they
did nothing wrong.
They're all crimes in general are horrible, but crimes that started because of race is, to me personally, a lot harder to forgive or even think about, because it's because it's not necessary. You don't do that to people.
No, definitely.
I can't imagine happening it to me personally or to anyone that I care about, because it's horrible.
Terrible.
Yeah, I think we'll try to keep an update on this news, but as we said before, it's not on the news as much as we believe that it should be, but we will try to keep updated on it as much as possible, because we do think this is a topic that, as well as Afghanistan, something that really needs to be spoken about.
Yeah, and it's a topic that's less spoken about, so we really do need to raise our voices.
Yeah, alright, so Alex is just gonna move on to the little fun news that we have down here, which I'm actually really excited to hear about.
Yes, I really, personally, love this news.
Alright, take it away.
Did you know that he's feeling depressed to get married before 30? A 28-year-old single teacher, Patricia Christine, married herself in a 50-pound ceremony surrounded by close friends after calling off an engagement with her ex 8 years back.
So she was engaged for 8 years, or she broke it off 8 years ago?
She broke it off 8 years ago, so I don't know if that matters, but...
Wow. I never knew there was pressure to marry before 30. Is that just me?
I love this. I would marry myself.
Can you do that? I didn't know you could marry yourself.
Not properly, but
I don't think you should get a certificate of marriage. Oh, remember that time we were talking about how if we don't get married by a certain age, we would marry each other, or friendship marry?
Yeah, we should do that. What age? 60?
He's a little old again. If you're gonna be what have you done with your lives?
Yeah, we'll keep up with each other, but we have a chance until 60. And
60?
we still have a chance after 60, but
okay.
Yeah,
okay. What age do you think you would get married?
I have no idea. I'm not thinking about that. I don't need to think about that.
No? I feel like what would be a good age? I feel like any age would be good.
No, definitely, but I don't need to think about it. I'm still young. I have time.
You do have time. You have plenty of time.
No, I have like, at least I think I still have like at least 40 years.
I mean, you could get married
60.
in college. You never know. You could get married in college.
Okay.
Was there any more on this? So, Patricia Christine. She was a teacher. Were her students there? Were her students there? But that would be fun.
No, probably not. Like, it's just her close friends.
Would you want to be? Did she invite her ex? I feel that would be dope. If you invited her ex.
I would do that.
What? Well, I would get my ex to walk me down the aisle. Right?
You're right. I completely
right?
agree.
And then if he had a wife or a girlfriend, I'd be like, hey, do you want to be my maid of honor? Can you imagine the reception? That'd be so awkward.
It would be. No, I would strive from that awkwardness.
Right? And if they had kids, they would be the flower girl or boy.
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of funny. Or just sad. I don't know.
We can ask the wife to officiate it.
We should do that. That sounds so fun. What would we do for our wedding ceremony?
Yeah, depends on the ex.
What would we do for the wedding ceremony? Would we walk ourselves down the aisle, or would one of us be
I
waiting?
would play one of my favorite songs. Anything Taylor Swift.
Yeah, Taylor Swift, amazing. But I feel like if I were to get married, I would want to play Can't Help Falling in Love by Elvis Presley.
By yourself?
I'm not gonna get married by myself. Shut up. It's either to like you and a friendship vow, or to a husband. I don't know.
I know, but that sounds weird. We should play like one of Mamma Mia songs. Like.
Oh no! I meant for my personal wedding, not with you. If it was with you, we'd probably play like Wildest Dreams with Taylor Swift or something. I don't know. That was the first song that came to mind.
I would do Dancing Queen.
Dancing Queen. Okay.
Okay.
I need to learn the lyrics to that one.
If I were in that wedding with like an ex and their husband / wife, I would go for we are never ever getting back
together. You would probably be like, I'm not interested. And the wife, can you imagine the wife? Or like, shout out to my ex by Little Mix. That's a good one, right?
Yeah.
Hold on. Carrie Edwards was amazing in that one. Her hair, the pink.
Just, we are never getting back together.
Or maybe like
ever.
we're never getting back together. Like, you know, remember the Reputation Stadium tour where she was singing it with That's Why We Can't Have Nice Things, like that mix.
Oh, that's good. We're doing that.
Right?
I'm doing that.
And we can invite all of our enemies
Mm.
and then make them pay for the food.
Well, we don't have enemies per se. Our siblings have enemies. By the way, they're like 9. They're 8. No, they were 8.
Mine's 9.
No, now they're 9. They were 8.
But still have some I swear.
No, I didn't have any enemies. Like, I haven't had any enemies.
I mean, I have people I
was
didn't like. Oh my god.
They call them enemies. They're like,
We're too young to have
play with her
enemies.
because she's my enemy.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to give a couple of book recommendations right now since we're talking about it?
Yeah.
I'm sure you have plenty. I don't have any, so.
You do.
I have.
Norwegian Wood.
Norwegian Wood by Murakami. Oh my god, this. Oh my. Okay, you go first.
Okay, I am reading Truly Devious right now, and I love it. And also read all the Murder Most Unladylike series because it's so amazing.
I read the Christmas one, but I just couldn't finish.
Book Thief, obviously a must read, but it's really sad.
You cried. Oh yeah, we're both reading A Little Life right now by Yana. Wait, let me switch it up. But
yeah,
keep going.
Rebecca
by Daphne du Maurier. Yeah. Have you finished reading that, or have you just started?
I have just started.
Yeah. Okay. So, any other ones?
I'm really excited to read Where the Crawdads Sing. I think it really ties in with the not like base crime thriller, so It's kind of, I heard it's kind of like To Kill a Mockingbird, just like the injustice of people of color. I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I have a couple over here. Oh yeah, I was raving about this one for like so long. The Fountains of Silence. It was nominated for the Carnegie Prize winner. It's amazing. It's a historic fiction, and it's also like a romance, but it's also like very family oriented as well. That's a great book. Obviously, Norwegian Wood by Murakami. Fantastic book. It represents young people so well. So honest. There's also South of the Border, West of the Sun, also by Murakami. Great book. Both of them have a lot of like, they're both very, very young based. There's also Echo Mountain by Lauren Wall, which is such a unique book. I don't think I've ever read anything like it. It's a lot like about healing and a family going through the Great Depression, having to move up into a place called Echo Mountain where a bunch of other family lives. It's really, really interesting. It's about healing and like connection between families and stuff. Really interesting. The Shatter Me series, we have one of our friends recommended it to me, and she loves Shatter Me. It's like dystopian romance. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm literally in love with one of the characters.
It's 1984.
Oh yeah, I can't. Yeah, you really enjoyed it, but you said you wouldn't want to read it again though.
No, I would, but I need to put a little time behind me because it was a long one. It was a long read for me.
Yeah, it was. It's like old English. It gives me like great expectations. I hate great expectations. I don't like that book. Someone's probably gonna end up killing me for saying that, but like I don't like it. I don't like it. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, so I found out the author name for A Little Life. Excuse my pronunciation. Hanaya Yanagihara, A Little Life. It's 814 pages long, and
oh my god,
I am forcing you to read it. Apparently, it's super traumatic though. So if you do want to read it, I don't think I would recommend it to anyone at all because there's a lot of trigger warnings and it is.
But really excited to read it though.
Yes, I am. Are there any other book recommendations you have? I can't think of anything right now.
Well,
Lord of the Flies is a very good one. I will suggest.
Wait, Gatsby.
Oh, that's a short one, isn't it?
Oh, Cersei by Madeline Miller.
Oh my god, yes.
It was so good. I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
And
I'm gonna start the Song of Achilles after because I've heard it's good.
Yeah, I downloaded it on my phone, but I haven't gone around to actually like reading it yet because I just couldn't.
I also liked Normal People.
You do?
By Sally Rooney.
I tried to order it, but then it never came. Yeah.
I think that's my favorite romance book.
That's
my only romance book.
She came out with another one called Beautiful World, Where Are You? I'm trying to get a lot of... there's also Conversation with Friends. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Wait, what other ones? Oh yeah, didn't you read the Charlotte Holmes series? I still need to get that series because I stole
I read some of it, but I haven't finished it, but it's pretty good.
Oh my god! Uncle Montague's Tale of Terror is also a really good book. It's the only horror book I've ever read, and it's not even that scary. So if you like that, then probably read it if you want. There's
we
also
both read it.
We both read it. I like it. There's also Lord of the Flies by William Golding. I suggest you read this as a book and don't study it, because when I was studying it, it wasn't that good. I didn't like studying, but reading it was really, really, really fun. I liked it a lot. The author is so good. There's also To All the Boys I Loved Before. That's a classic romance. I love that one.
Oh my god, you were so antisocial on the trip. Like, you just kept reading, and we were supposed to be having fun, like a sleepover, you know?
Shut up! I know, when I brought that.
You were such a party pooper.
Literally, I went to, when I went to Ho Chi Minh, I was reading, I brought The Fountains of Silence with me, and I was reading it, on the trip. Everyone was so mad at me! Viv and my mom were like saying like, you need to get off the book, but it was really good. I recommend. Hey, you are also a party pooper when you read. You're like really, but you would prefer social interactions.
No, I do like reading, but I think reading is like, for me, you can read it with other people, but like, I mean, when you're with other people, you do something else.
Okay. Point
Yeah,
taken.
but I just read by myself. Unless it's like a reading party, that's also really fun. We used to have a lot of those.
Okay,
and,
so
like,
sorry. I just got a notification that we only have 20 seconds to wrap this up before it's
Okay.
recording. So
bye.
bye. We'll see you. We'll see you
do.
next week.
Yeah.
Bye. Always
See ya.
yours, Alex and Cara.